just from a dominant standpoint, when did you feel that when did you adopt that dominant mindset? Because there's certain things that has to happen from a basketball standpoint or an athletic standpoint that allows you to think, okay, not only am I going to be good at this, I'm going to dominate this. Like, when did that happen for you? Was that young as well?
That's a great question. The idea of dominating was at 9 and 10 years old.
Mm-hmm.
I said, man, I want to be the greatest to play the game.
That's
I would
awesome.
argue with my cousin at the time. His name is Robin.
Mm-hmm.
And he would say, you can only be one of the greatest. I said, man, I want to be the greatest.
Right.
And we would go back and forth. I was like, I know the greatest to ever play. And so at that young age, the idea was there. But when I started to feel I really had a chance,
Mm-hmm.
And this is going to sound crazy. And it's great that it was early, not later. It was in elementary school.
Really?
Yeah, because I remember playing, I would always try to play up. You play those games of 21 and then they go in 3-on-3 after the 21 games. Let's pick teams. And I'm playing against high schoolers.
Mm-hmm.
And some of these guys are out of high school and they start picking me first pick. But remember, I'm waking up every morning at 4:00 and I'm at the court by 5.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm out there like working like if you would have saw me, you would have been like, who is he playing against? Because I'm out there, man, 2-3 individual people, and I'm going at, I'm breathing. Every day was almost like and I don't say this, I don't use my words loosely.
Mm-hmm.
I had almost every day was a near-death experience because I was working so hard.
Mm-hmm.
I can't catch my breath to the point, man, it's scary.
Mm-hmm.
And so at that age in elementary school, I remember having some games. We played a team, I think Westminster or something, and we lost. And it was like, it was like 50. I can't remember the exact. So I said this story so many times. It was like 53 to 50.
Mm-hmm.
And I had like 45 of, you know what I mean?
Of the 50.
Of our 50. We lost it
Okay.
by about 3, but I had like about 45 of our 50 points.
Yes.
Then there was a game we lost 36 to 43.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
I almost beat the team. I had all 36. And, and I said, man, this is coming, this is just feeling easier.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
The more I'm doing this, but a lot of it was because of the work, and then I'm playing with older people. So when you finally get out there with your age group, you getting pushed on, and the resistance with older people, your speed, your change of direction, your explosion, all of that's just, you don't even hardly feel them anymore, right?
Exactly.
Right. And this is what I tell a lot of people. So for me at that age, I said, man, the idea, but also like if I'm doing this with these guys who's been playing longer than me, and I'm a 4th grader, what's the difference as the years progress, me doing it on another level? And so that's what it constantly just forced me and influenced me to work even harder, because when you get that feeling,
yes,
and you can do what you want, man, you don't want to lose that feeling. I want that feeling all the time. So that kept me going right back to the court every single day, pushing it harder, because also I knew at that young age that I'd have a target on my back and always want to be ready.
Yes. 100%.
And so this is why I would train a lot by myself, imagining I'm playing against 2-3 individual people, and they're always this close to the basketball.
Exactly.
I'm trying to
feel it.
Space.
Yeah, feel it. Yes. Yes.
Yeah, you imagine getting hit and everything.
Exactly. You can do it. You know what?
Right.
Imagination is the biggest part of being, great. You have to have that visualization. And I'm gonna tell you one other thing that's impressive. First of all, it's a pleasure to have this conversation because a lot of people can't. have it that doesn't have the dominance and the scoring mentality. So
Mhm.
I definitely come from that. And watching you, watching Mike, watching people coming up is what established it for me.
Mhm.
But this is a big part of it, man. And I tell people this all the time, and it's hard for people to feel. Like the feeling that you get when you're hot. Let's
Oh
say,
man.
yeah, when you get 30, 40 and you hot, that feeling, it can't be described to the average person, okay? But it's a such thing, and I think you're describing this. It's a such thing as practicing being hot, like practicing that feeling. And it's just like you said, like you don't want to let it go. You don't want that feeling to leave. So when you're training and you're working out, 8 out of 10 ain't good enough because that ain't how
No.
you feel when you hot. You got to go 10 for 10. And some of the people that I'm around and train with, and as a player, that I was known for that as well. But it's just such a pleasure to hear somebody speak like that and understand it, especially after watching you, man. Especially after
No.
watching
No, I appreciate that, man. But I agree with you. When you've lived it, experienced it,
you.
it it uh it it, it, it resonates more.
It does. It does.
Look, it's there's a saying in my belief that it's hard to be patient or to
hmm
understand what hasn't been in the scope of your experience.
Exactly. Like,
You know what I mean?
like for example, how many times you have 50 in a game? Is it hard to count?
No, well, at LSU for those 2 years,
hmm
I had 50, I think, or more 4 times. I think over 40, 14 times.
hmm
And in high school, I can't remember, but I was just having this conversation with a partner of mine also. The thing with me is, I came up with a coach that he didn't believe in wasted movement,
hmm hmm
over dribbling, none of that stuff. Once you get into your move, two, three dribbles, you gotta something's gotta be done. And so I don't want to lose my train of thought, man. It's just so
I
I mean,
know, I know. No, we here to talk, man.
yeah,
This is Jules. I love it. Everybody needs to hear from you, brother, because it is really that good. So go ahead, man. You take your time.
well, I grew up with a high school coach that he saw something in me, and he let me go. But also, like when I was in junior high, even we never played over. I was averaging like 21. We didn't have a three, and we only played 2 quarters.
hmm
And so even in college, I mean, even at high school, if we were blowing out a team, like you would hear players like, oh, they had 70 and 80, and they were blowing the team out. We never did that.
hmm
But every time I scored 50 or more, is we needed it.
Yeah,
I was
that's
never that
different.
dude that said I want to go see if I can score 80 or 90.
hmm hmm
No, I prided myself on always getting it in the flow of the game.
Yes, yes,
And
yep.
that's an art to that.
hmm
There's so many nuances and rhythm. Life is rhythm.
hmm
Basketball is a rhythm.
uh
No different. And when you're able to, it's one thing to go and you over dribbling and you taking away from other people,
hmm
it don't look as good.
Right.
But when you getting it in the flow of the game, that's
hmm
even more impressive.
That's
When you getting it with the least amount of dribbles, that's more impressive. There are levels to these things, there are nuances. And I talk about that a lot. And like even this younger generation, oh, I like this. I said, beautiful, man, skillful player can do this. I said, but a lot of time they over dribble. They take too long.
hmm
You do this and do that, because that's how our mind works. And I said, no, not taking anything away from them. There are levels to this though. What's more impressive, taking 6, 7 dribbles to get your shot, or 2 or 3?
Come on now. You know what it is. Yeah,
Exactly.
it makes more sense. It makes more sense. 2 or 3.
Exactly. So be efficient, right? And this is what I try to teach when I do train, man. And there's so many things, but my thing is from taking the unnecessary stress out the game to making it look effortless. If you got a guy averaging 30 and he's like, and he's looking good, but if you got a guy, he's smooth, it doesn't mean he's not working hard. I said, he's mastered the art of making it look easy. I said, which one is going to look more impressive? The one that's making it look easy or the one that's, got all of that tension? I said, so because it makes you look more impressive.
Yes. Yes.
And longevity. Less stress on your body and your joints. Right? And so this is what I used to pride myself on. Like, Mahmoud, you're small. They're already looking at that.
Yeah.
And for guys our size, we have to be exceptional.
Exceptional.
If there's a 6'4", 6'3" that can do what we do, they taking it.
Exactly.
Oh, we got to have something that just pops out like, oh, yeah, I know he's smaller, but God dog, man. Like Muggsy. Muggsy will D you up from one end of the floor to the next. He was 5'3".
Absolutely. Yes.
And he was strong. He had leverage. So he had something. Right? And so he couldn't come out and not be like a 6'3". He would have never made it. So anyway, look, I don't want to go on no tangent, man.
No, man, you can go on a tangent. I'm telling you. No, because this is the type of information I like to provide the world. Because like I said, the average person doesn't get this type